Okay, welcome back everybody to my Space Engineers Beginner's Guide. This is episode 15. I am your host, Mal Bathler. At least I'm known by that here on Twitch. Over on the Keen forums and on Steam, I am known as Caladan. Reason for the different name, too difficult to go into, other than I can't have the name that I've been using for 30 years here. Oh, Assenbergers, welcome. Pleasure to see you again. Now, this episode, I've left it with just the pause screen here, just so you can see what version I'm running. That said, I am still running with destructible blocks turned off, just as I haven't had a chance to actually retest this latest hotfix to see if it's actually fixed up this. I'm assuming they're referring to paper blocks with the high destructibility of blocks that was having trouble with. This particular episode, I've got destructible blocks turned off. Now, I believe our refinery is still refining. Yeah, it's still going on. It's going to be quite some time there. But after thinking about my last episode, which was about our timer blocks here, I realised that there's some other blocks that we haven't covered that I'd like to at least touch on, just to get people who are not familiar with the game familiar with what types of blocks they are. Namely, rotors and pistons. A touchy subject to some, because they are notoriously bad for clanging or self-destructing, destroying other objects, things like that, or just breaking up. I find they actually can be quite useful in certain circumstances, and once they actually fix the issues with them, I think it'll be good. Now, I just noticed that my stream seems to be really lagging behind where I'm up to, and I've just had anonymous follow, so thank you for the anonymous follow. Here we go. Now, rotors and pistons. Well, as the name implies, one rotates and one drives forward and reverse, just like a piston. Okay, in this case, I'm actually going to quickly utilise one of the cheats. Well, if you can call it a cheat. I'm actually going to turn creative tools on, only because I don't feel like building them up. I'm being a little bit lazy tonight. So let's just find some empty space here. Here we go, that'll do nicely. And let's grab piston and a rotor. Okay. Now there are two types of rotors. This one, as you can see, is the advanced rotor. Now, the advanced rotor, if we have a look underneath, has got a conveyor port, which means you can convey materials through the advanced rotor. The standard rotor, which is called rotor, you notice it's got no conveyor port, so it is just a rotating object. So it's great for like alerts and alarms. Okay, so anonymous is better. I see. Well, anyway, welcome and thanks for following. Yeah, so rotors, I mean, there's lots of different uses for rotors. If you need a rotating part, whether it be an alert, a light, an alert over top of a hangar bay, if you're opening a hangar, you can, well, let's just do it. Let's just turn that on. And we can grab, for example, a spotlight. And we'll stick a spotlight on it, right, stick it to the side. Ooh, that's bright. Let's just get away from that. Grab a terminal, find our rotor, and let's just start it rotating. Let's just give it, that's pretty fast-ish. Yeah, that'll do. And it'll just, okay, no, that's no good for an alert. Let's just up that, let's make it quite a bit faster. There we go. It's still not very fast, but you get the idea. It'll just sit there and just keep going round and round and round in circles. Now there's some advantages to using rotors, namely, let's just stop you again. We can get rid of you. Okay, that's not the block I wanted, but it will do. And we can get rid of that. Notice we just took the top part of the rotor off. Now, that top part was a large grid rotor head. We can actually add a small grid rotor head. Now, what does that give us? Well, it gives us this tiny incomplete thing. Oh, great. Tiny incomplete thing sitting here on top. Steel plates and tubes. Steel plates and tubes. Really? It's not mine on tonight. There we go. Notice it looks very much identical to the large one, but it's just much smaller. Now, what does that give us? Well, it means we can now take, see, there's a large grid block, light armor block, but if we put it on top of this, it gives us the small version, the same as what we did for our ships. So this is a method of being able to attach small grids to large grids. Normally you can't mix the two. The exception to that is actually a rotor block with a small grid head on it. And now what that means is when we jump back over here and grab our spotlight 3, it's going to give us the small grid version of it. So let's just put one on each side, like such. And this time round we'll grab our rotor and we'll give it a speed of say 5. I don't know, let's just go all out 10. And instantly we've got a rotating beacon. We can even go faster if we wanted, 20. Make it really quite fast. So let's see what that does. I don't normally work with rotors running at those sorts of speeds, but heck, why not? Yeah, let's go all out. Let's just push it. We don't want safety lock speed. That's not what I want. What is it? 45 is our fastest one. Okay, that's a pretty good beacon. We could sit that on the, an entryway of a hangar. Turn the lights red, turn them yellow, turn them some other colour so they stand out. Even white doesn't really matter. The rotating lights will certainly catch your attention. So it is. In this case, that's a way you can use small grid components on top of a large grid through a rotor. Let's just stop you again. Now we can go the other way. We don't want to do that. Let's just stop you. But what else can rotors be used for? Well, because there's two types of rotors, a standard rotor and an advanced rotor, the advanced rotor lets you pipe things through it. So, for example, a drilling platform. You might use a drilling platform that's got a rotating drill head. I actually just come from another live stream that I do, a survival game, that I actually just built that sort of a drilling platform. It uses a big array of drills going all conveyed up, going through a conveyor junction which is attached to an advanced rotor. That way the drills, everything gets piped up through the advanced rotor and off into a storage container. So that's another use for it. Basic rotor like this can be used for, and I mentioned it last night actually when we were dealing with the programmable block over there, for advanced solar arrays, sun tracking solar panels, especially when in conjunction with a script like ICE's solar alignment script is a good example of that. There's others out there. I mentioned that one purely because that's the one I use. And it makes use of rotors, either one rotor on the horizontal or two rotors, horizontal and vertical, so it gives you a full sun tracking. So you can even use them for doors, cargo doors. I've built ships, small grid ships, because there is a small grid variant of this. Let me just demonstrate that. We can grab a rotor, stick it on top, and you notice there's a small grid version of it. So rotors are good for both small and large grids. There is even an advanced version of the small grid version. It's a lot broader, as you can see. that's really small, that's really quite wide. I make use of that one. Normally I don't feel the need to use a rotating conveyor compatible version of the rotor head on small grids, only because of their flimsiness and their inability to handle a lot of strain and pressure. But the small grid is great for solar arrays. I do have solar arrays on small grid ships at times. And as an example of that, I've got on the workshop, if we scroll down here, Beetle here. Beetle makes use of rotors and solar panels, and it actually splays or opens its solar panels out, pulls it back in, just like a Beetle does. It's named at that, but it makes use of a small rotor, or two lots of small rotors on each side actually. Alright, thanks for that. I'll actually just do what I wanted. Could just be that my voice is microphone. Oh no, let me just put that down there. Looks like I actually had. I might even take it even further down. Alright, hopefully that's better. I did have the game audio set a little bit higher in OBS than I do have my microphone, so yeah, thanks for the feedback. That's excellent. Thanks, Assenbergers. Okay, so yeah, rotors I find very useful. Be fantastic once they're fully fixed, whenever that will be. But I still struggle along with them and try to use them as best I can. In certain circumstances. There's been another small grid ship I built that actually had a sloping ramp. It was quite a large small grid ship actually. It actually was fully atmospheric inside. It wasn't just a cockpit, it was actually a full intact interior. And I used rotors on the doors. Well, there was a second layer of airlocks behind it, but just for effect. It worked to a point, but I sort of moved away from that. I've used them on bases. Anywhere you need a part to rotate. I know a lot of other people use them quite extensively. Other people don't use them at all. But it is just another one of the functional blocks here in the game. Now, the other one I mentioned was the pistons. You come over here, and pistons are also conveyor compatible. They're set up to be able to pipe things through them into a conveyor network. Now, can we lay it on its side? We can. I'm just going to hang it over the edge here. Maybe we'll stick it out there. That way we can highlight what it does. Pretty much, it's as the name implies. If we come in here, yep, find our piston, there it is there. Velocity, yep, it's set for, you notice it's set -5 at the moment. It's not going anywhere. -5 means retract. Positive figures mean extend. And there are actually controls for if you're in a flight seat and things like that. You can actually add retract and extend commands onto your toolbar. In this case, we will just hit reverse, which turns it from a negative velocity to a positive. And you'll see straight away exactly what it does. Pistons extend 10 meters by default. That is the maximum range of them. If you need them to extend a smaller distance than that, then that's good. You can actually set that. If you need it to operate within a defined range, like from 2 meters to 6 meters, likewise, you can define that. We can come in here to our piston. We can say maximum we want is 6 meters. Minimum we want is 2 meters. And now, when it comes back in, it will come down to 2 meters out and stop. Now, pistons are very commonly used for blast doors. That's where I've seen them used the most, at least. They're a good way of extending side doors. Just reverse it again, you'll notice it'll only go as far as 6 meters this time. And you can have one on each side with some blast doors attached to the front of it, and they can, open and close and retract and extend. I make use of them on the drilling platform, the one that I mentioned just before. The arrangement is pretty straightforward. It's got a piston with a rotor at the end of it. The rotor has got a crossbar combination of drills and conveyor tubes to create a staggered drill arrangement so that one side fills the gaps of the other. And when I kick it all off, the rotor rotates the drill heads, of course, which drills a nice, covers a nice circular area, and then the piston drives it down for 10 meters, and when it hits the maximum 10 meters, I then grind the whole structure down, well, that part of it, the drill head, up to and including the piston, drop the whole rig down 10 meters and rebuild the end. These are actually very cheap to actually build, in my opinion. They are quite cheap to build. If you notice, 10 steel plate construction components, 4 large tubes, 4 motors, and 2 computers with a couple of extra steel plate to finish. So very, very light on the construction side of it. Doesn't need a heck of a lot of resources to build. Same with the rotor. So the rotor actually uses the same amount of resources. Basically what you're looking at there is the same as what is required for the rotor, if I recall. Yeah, pretty much 10, 10, 4, 4, 2 and 5. So both of them very lightweight, very low resource hungry components to build. They do have enough strength for a drilling platform, which is great. The drills themselves actually may take more resources. Base connectors for a miner. I have not used them as a base connector. Oh, if you mean for a drilling rig. Let me just quickly. I was going to say, let me just quickly build one up. Okay, I'll just show you. I won't actually build one up, but I will show the basic structure of how it ends up being built up. Pretty much we've got we'll go that high. We've got a 4 arrangement of these. Not to scale. Definitely not to scale. Where is it? There it is. We've got a conveyor tube here. Now we do have conveyor that comes off the top of this, pipes over to a cargo container. Underneath this is where we put our, at least this is how I build up my, usually in a drilling arrangement anyway. Put one of these, stick one of those. I don't have the room here to add it in, but then I add an alternating, it's drill, drill, conveyor, drill, conveyor. It ends up being 3 on either side it works out at, in a staggered arrangement. That arrangement, yes, the piston is strong enough to be able to support the drills rotating and driving down into the ground at the same time. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. It is, as long as the ship doesn't move. They can be torn and broken really easily. The heads can be broken off quite easily, I've found. So if your ship remains stationary when it uses the piston to push a connector down to connect up to a base, as long as your ship doesn't move whilst it's connected, then yeah, it can be strong enough to do that, and it pipes things through quite nicely. So it's a good way of being able to extend a connector if it's not physically possible to move your ship close by. What the heck is that? Sorry, my stream's doing some weird stuff. If the ship is configured such that you can't get a connector near enough to a base, then yeah, a piston can be good to extend it that extra 10 meters to be able to reach a connector on a base. So yeah, you position it and then push it down. I find you have to be careful. If you're too close and the piston drives into the connector, you can sometimes damage and break the connector or break the head off the piston. That's just from my experience. So if you set to the, you come into the right distance, or I have actually built this similar sort of arrangement that you're describing, and damn it, my stream is really misbehaving. Not from this end. Twitch is obviously having fun. Yeah, I did have a ship that had the same sort of arrangement because it was really badly configured. I could not actually get close enough to any form of base to be able to connect it. I would actually extend the piston as I was coming into dock, and that way I could then bring the ship, line the actual connector up and come down onto it, and then once I was finished unloading, I would then disconnect the connector, retract the piston, and then move my ship off. I didn't actually bring the ship in and then extend the connector down to the base, because you can never really match the distance right. You're liable to be too close, and you'll end up either pushing your ship further up, or breaking the connector, or breaking the piston, and so on. But it can be used in that arrangement, definitely, yes. Okay, what have we got here? Anyway, I do apologise about the stream being so flaky. From my side here, it's showing that everything's streaming fine, but looks like Twitch is just having trouble with something. I'm just trying to determine what it is doing. It's just repeated itself for some reason, and it's doing it again. It looks okay. Maybe it's just the downlink that I've got at this end that's stalling out on me, which, hey, would not surprise me whatsoever. Anyway, that's just a basic introduction to both pistons and rotors. The uses for them go on. I could talk quite a lot about the various uses of pistons and rotors. I've used them in various different ways and configurations. I've used them in very simple, and I've not used them at all. I mean, it covers the whole ground. Mostly, I will admit, mostly my use of rotors comes about in solar arrays, solar alignment arrays. I did mess with them a little bit on some bases, and it worked fair enough, I guess. In fact, just for a bit of diversity, I'm going to actually, first of all, we'll turn these off. Don't like saving with that turned on, especially in a survival game. I am actually going to quit out of this game, and we'll load up. This is an alien planet. Now, I chose this one in particular because an alien planet's got a higher gravity than an Earth-based standard. It's a 1.1 gravity, and I wanted to build structures on a planet that had a higher than default gravity. Now, this has got one of the development bases, one of the bases I built. I was going to put it on the workshop, but I have decided not to at this point in time. That, of course, may change down the track. I haven't decided yet. Although one of the items developed on this was actually put on the workshop. It's a big pyramid ship. And so if you check out my workshop page, you will actually find that ship there. You'll probably see it here as well. There's a couple of other things here as well. I think we might even load in on one of these pyramids. Yes, I believe we do. Okay. Oh no, this is the base in question. Excellent. Come on, auto LCDs. Dum 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 dum. This is a base I built to be like an easy start initial base for a scenario. I may use it. I haven't, like I said, I haven't really decided yet. Oh, it's no good. Don't need to worry about that. Okay, what do we got here? We've got an invisible door. Well, that's interesting. I think that is a custom door. Alright, here's a good example of the use of a piston. There is actually a piston sitting up behind our plating here that's lifting this blast door up. Okay, this is our command center. As you can see, I've got it pretty decked out. We've got a lot of control chairs. Yay. That's the basic arrangement of this entire base. Yeah, I'm just showing it off at the moment, so that's cool. But yeah, this is the use of a piston. There is a piston up behind there that's lifting that up and pushing it back down again afterwards. It's an automated door, as you can see. Yeah, there's one of our pyramids over there. It looks precariously positioned. It looks like it's half fallen off. Yeah, as you can see, I was planning on putting it on the workshop, and I'm still of a mind as to what I'm doing with that. But the reason why I loaded this up was to show the use of, there it is, rotors. This is actually a creative game as well. This is utilising a rotor to lower a ramp, as you can tell, but that actually allows, oh, we've got a visible connector down there too. That's nice. I haven't actually loaded this game up for a while. And unfortunately, this is about the extent of the distance you can push a light armor blocks on a rotor before the rotor actually won't be able to lift it. There is actually a connector there. See, can't get any closer. There's actually a conveyor tube there, and that is not any form of custom conveyor tube. That's a standard conveyor tube, so I don't know what's going on with that. But yes, this is just to show how rotors can be used to make ramps. Here we go. Yes, that vehicle down there can drive up this ramp up to the top here. Works actually pretty well. But yeah, the gravity here, if you notice down in the HUD, gravity is 1.1 Earth G. It's that beast up there, the pyramid ship, that's actually the one that is on the workshop. So it is capable of atmospheric entry onto this particular planet. That's why I built it here, because I figured if it could come from space down and to here in a 1.1 G, then it will work fine in anything else. Oh, where did I put the door? It's on the side here somewhere. Oh no, it's not. If I remember correctly, it's halfway up the side. I just don't know what face it's on. The back face, probably. There it is. I mean, inside of the ship is, well, pretty open. Namely, you can see everything. It comes fully decked. It's fully capable of processing all of those hard-earned resources and turning them all into materials and products. Comes fully decked with 7 jump drives, as you can see. So yeah, it's a ship that was actually inspired by Stargate, as any person who's familiar with Stargate might sort of realise. Same with the other one that's over there somewhere. The third pyramid here is, it's the ship that is fully flyable, that is also capable of going to orbit and back. That one over there is that is a base, that is a static. It doesn't fly, that one. This one does, and you notice it's got some interesting solar panel arrangements here. These solar panels fold up, they tuck in, they lock in place. The 2-tier sides close down, they lock in place, and the whole arrangement is flight capable. It is currently sitting on a support base. Come on here, we can see it. Because I had no way of being able to see these little things here. Yeah, they kind of sunk straight into the ground and started tearing off, so I had to sit it on an actual base. But it is atmospheric ready. Okay, engaged, but let's just turn that on. We're on a planet, so there is a lot of well, let's just say it's big inside. It's got jump drive, so it's jump capable. Getting up to our flight deck is not exactly straightforward. It's up there. I'm glad you like it. I have to admit I did spend a lot of hours building it and so on. A lot of trial and error. Had a lot of problems with some of the rotors deciding to self-destruct. Here we go. But I've actually probably forgotten half the controls here, to be honest. It's been a little while since I've looked at this. And so I'm not going to mess with any anomalous stuff up. What have we got here? We've got open pyramid, closed pyramid. And solar deploy, solar retract. Okay, so we need that one. Okay, so 3 to solar retract. There we go. Slow and steady. No, there's actually no special mods in this one. There's just the display mods like MM Master's automatic LCDs too. I also make use of what's, just trying to think of the guy's name. So no LCDs, no programs. Automatic doors by Mexican Dave. There's just that way, if I open a door, it'll automatically close behind me. Floor plan, probably familiar with floor plan. Inventory management by Reptar. Yeah, all my modification is just I added cockpits into his list of added cockpits into the list of inventories that it can pull stuff out of. Refinery manager and product manager. They're both by Shorty. Yeah, I thought it was Shorty. I just modified these to gather products to add in this one, clean. Basically, in essence, he's got another script that does that. It basically pulls the components that are in assemblers out of them and puts them back into your storage rather than just sitting in assemblers. Pretty straightforward, really. And the airlock control one, which I think is an MM master as well, and yeah, morphologist, yeah, very nice airlock script. They're the only scripts I'm using. I'm actually not using any other mods per se. There we go, it's all fully in. Now we can close up. And I'm just trying to remember apex locks and corner locks. Alright, I'll wait, that's right, wait until they close up and then we lock everything in place with those landing gears. So this one's a slow to deploy thing. Yeah, for sure. What's the script actually do, Assenbergers? I have no problems trying new scripts and new features and functionalities. There we go, and now we can lock that and lock that. Now that everything's locked, this ship is actually now capable of ascent. That, and I'll even turn those on just to give us that extra little bit of a boost. It's slow. It is slow. Ooh, base manager. Definitely would be interested in trialing it and testing it for you. In that case, I'm always on the lookout for. Excuse me. Always on the lookout for new scripts and things that make management of a base a lot better. I'll have to admit I've been slow to the party when it comes to using Tim. I make, as you notice, there's no Tim here at all. Tim can actually do a lot of these same sorts of things. I actually found that utilising Shorty's scripts was really good, as well as that was it Mexican Days inventory sort of one. I find it really they're quite useful, but this is old stuff compared to the newer stuff, of course, where I actually do make use of Tim and a lot of things now. But yeah, well and truly definitely interested in testing out any new scripts that anybody's got actually, because the more the merrier, as the saying goes. Just trying to get my orientation right here. It is that way. Very, very slow to move this ship. But as you can see, is well and truly flight capable. This ship was inspired by the original Stargate movie, the Ra ship, the one that actually landed and opened up. Hence why I included that functionality in this particular ship. Did think about putting it on the workshop as well, but I hate that snap out. I've still, again, half of my stuff I'm undecided whether I'm going to put them on the workshop or not. I've put a couple up there as I've mentioned, but you have to excuse me. I'm just going to jump into spectator cam just so I can see where this is positioned without it snapping into my cockpit. Yeah, this ship actually works quite well, just like the other one. It is capable of... Yes, this thing is capable of escaping gravity. I have actually had this thing into orbit and back. So whilst it is a huge monstrosity, it is quite capable of doing it. I'm just trying to think if I'm running a I think I might be running a speed mod on this. One way to find out. I know I'm not running a HUD mod. Edit. Yes, I am. That speed mod is personal speed mod. That one actually allows for excessive speed, so I don't normally use that one at the moment because the physics tends to want to crap out. The one I use normally is my AA-B one over here, which limits the maximum speed for a small grid to 200 meters a second, not the standard 100. This one that I'm currently running here, it actually limits the small grid speed to 1000 meters a second. I don't utilize it very often anymore because of the Havoc having trouble with it. Oh, and welcome, Angry Cat Dance. Yes, that big white beast is capable of spaceflight and landing back on the alien planet, like I said right early in the piece. That's why I use the alien planet. It's a 1.1 G planet, so if it can land from space onto it safely, I knew things would actually work fine for any other planet in any system. Yeah, Assenbergers, the recent changes they made, anything above seems to be around about the 250 meter a second range. Anything above that, and the ship becomes completely uncontrollable. It starts deciding to go its own directions. That's why I don't normally use the AAA speed mod. The big one that I normally use, I actually rebuilt the speed mod and use 200 meters a second is the fastest I use for a small grid, 225 meters a second in the same mod for a large grid. What the hell are you doing? Okay, I don't know whether this is translating through on onto the stream. It's just my sound's all of a sudden stalling and stuttering. From my understanding of it, Angry Cat Dance, yes, Drake Fear is right. They become very unreliable. They tend to break, tear apart. When it comes to a speed mod in general, anything above 250 odd meters a second, I've found, yeah, but going above that, I find between that and about 300, as you said, whereas Assenberger said, all of a sudden the ship just decides it's going to go its own direction. You can be flying dead straight, and all of a sudden it will start nosediving the ground, or it will start skyrocketing or pointing up to the sky. It is possible to control, but it takes a lot of effort. So, just to save that sort of an effort, I actually scaled back my speed mod. Be nice if I could fix that so it doesn't do it anymore. My feel is that it's to do with the multi-threaded physics, sort of things getting updated out of sync with others. But it's that's just my take on it. Yeah, that's very true, Angry Cat Dance. Very, very true. And yeah, it's very much a hair trigger at that speed. I don't like going much above that. It can be done, but it's, yeah, you're asking for a lot of trouble. Okay. You have to excuse me, I'm just trying to find out what the hell is going on here. I'm not sure if that is actually coming through. It is. It does appear as if that audio problem is coming through this. And yes, music is staggering. I'm not sure what the hell that is. Yeah, I'm just checking OBS here, and everything from this side is streaming fine. But yeah, the audio is now just like, I think it's because it's asynchronously loading stuff in the background. I think in this particular case it's decided to wreak havoc with. Okay, let's just try that. Okay, I hope this doesn't collapse on me. Alright, power down. So, yes, this beast is flight capable. It is, as you saw, it opens up. We can unlock all these. We can deploy those. Once they're fully deployed, then we can actually extend the solar panels. I actually wanted to make the solar panels bigger, but yes, old Grumpy, that is a lot of thrusters indeed. It was the only way I could get this thing to go into orbit, but it goes there. It's got all 3 thruster types, and it took a little bit of configuring. Where am I? Come around here. If you notice this one over here, you notice I did scale back the thrusters quite a lot on this smaller version. This is the one that I ended up putting on the workshop. But it still does have quite a few. It's got some internals as well. Not all that many. I think. Or does it? No, this one doesn't have the... Oh yeah. No, this one doesn't have internals. It must have been that one with internals. Yeah. That one. Yeah, that's the one I want. I did actually want to make these solar panels larger. I just found it difficult to pack them in here small enough and make them all fit in, so yeah, Assenbergers, I found that myself actually. Yeah, so old Grumpy, I got inspired by the original Stargate Ra ship, how it opens up. It's not, doesn't open up like this, but it opens up similar sort of concept, as you're probably aware, if you're a Stargate, fan. I definitely encourage anybody to build them. They're so much fun. I actually started with this beastie over here, and actually I'm not going to. Yes, I will. Oh, we'll just jump out. Yeah, that can finish opening up. Sorry, just going to teleport myself over here. And there we go. I wanted to build a giant pyramid. And I wanted to make it very much like a pyramid. This one makes use of sensors inside to open the door. The inside of this pyramid is very much like pyramids. It's all ceremonial and symbolic. And I'm having trouble with the sound again, so it's probably going to come through. I guess my game's kind of frozen here as well. There we go, freed up. This is very much a ceremonial type pyramid. It's all aesthetics, it's all look. Well, no, that's not entirely true. The main part that you see here is all aesthetics and look. We go down and we enter, for want of a better term, the maze of the pyramid. This pyramid's got a maze built into it. I wouldn't call it a very complicated maze. In fact, there we go, in fact, I have left myself trails. Let's just follow our pink coloured blocks here, see where it takes us. There's lots of things to be found in this maze. There is... I'm not going to go there yet. There is treasures to be found. There are cargo containers stashed away with, for example, platinum, which you don't find on a planet. The plan was I would actually wipe out these trails in the end so that it makes it harder. Here's another one, different colour however. This leads us somewhere different. Not even sure where this leads anymore. It's been months since I've even looked at these. Oh yes, here we go, the preparation room. Ceremonial preparation room down underneath the main ceremonial chamber. Yeah, cryogenics rather than mummification. I went for the feel and the look. Don't need to go up there. They make nice braziers, braziers, however term you want to pronounce it. However, if you make your way through the pyramid, you come to inside the pyramid. A lot of empty space, you notice. Let's just jump out here. That said, can make our way up to here, up to the top. This is the top of the ceremonial chamber. That said, we can even go even further up. So it does require your jetpack to actually even get in here. And this is the main control center, a little bit more advanced than what you'd expect from Egypt. But you notice you've seen nothing yet. You can see that there's reactors. We can see there's furnaces, and there's refineries and assemblers, and I mean a truckload of assemblers. But so far we haven't seen those. That is because they are elsewhere. And what have we got in here? Batteries? Yeah, battery storage. Don't need battery storage. I avoided coming out here before so I could come back in through this way. There's our pink path. That's the priest's way of getting to the inner side of the pyramid. That said, you notice, as I said, we didn't see any of the refineries, the assemblers, the reactors. That's because of how you get to them. I'm going to actually show off my secrets, show off the pyramid secrets actually. Where is our main entrance? There it is. Let's just go back to our main entrance here. This is where we came in, main glass door. The secret of this pyramid. No, this was done in creative Assenbergers. I didn't build this up in survival. The secret to this pyramid is the blast doors. We can exit out through the blast doors. Through a basic airlock. Am I running in the script? No. Notice our oxygen level is now high. We are now fully oxygenated atmospheric in here. That is entry into our assemblers. Oh, hang on. Assemblers? Yes, assemblers. We could have gone through the assembler room. That brings us out just here. We're actually now walking around inside the wall of the pyramid, on the interior wall, between the outer wall and the inside, the ceremonial inside that we saw just before. This is all of our, as you can see, it says our refineries. We just cut through the corner there, could have gone around. Not sure which one's this. Oh yeah, this is our storage. Lots and lots of storage. And yes, this is our reactors. We've even got additional uranium. So yeah, had a lot of fun building this. Very much love Egypt myself. So I think if I remember correctly, I just finished a binge of watching all seasons of Stargate, if I remember correctly, before I started this. Which is kind of what inspired me, I guess. But I've always had a love for Egypt. Yeah, come on. So yeah, had a lot of fun building that. That after I built that, actually, it sort of inspired me to go on and build our big beastie over here. Which it works quite nice for what it is. Like I said, I wished I could actually create a bigger folding arrays, but I just couldn't figure out how to pack them in here properly, or adequately, that is. But I do lock everything down with landing gear. I find it saves too many things clanging. Although that said, and the same happens with a couple of other ships I use that I've built that have got rotors and pistons. You can lock them down, you can take them to orbit, not a problem. Everything looks fine and stable until you unlock them. As soon as you unlock them, they just disintegrate. But the base size of this ship That's a good question. I did write it down at some stage, but I'd forgotten. Let's have a look. So what was 62 or 63 or something over that square? No, not that one, that one. 63 square. Yeah, that's not a problem. The pyramid over there is bigger. If I remember correctly, it's an 80 by 80 square base. It's a fully enclosed base, if you notice. So it can be placed in various locations, but yeah, as to base dimensions, like I said, it's actually been a long time since I've looked at these. I can't even remember what they're... No, not that one. Well, that just is stupid. It's alright, I just won't save this when I've finished. Yeah, wrong colour still. I did it again. It's the problem with using a spectator cam, and got my speed wrong. Come on. 50. Yeah, 60. Is it 80? I think it's 80 square. Yeah. Yeah, an 80 square on this one, and I actually just erased that whole side, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, that pyramid's a whole 80 by 80. 30 block square, that's an alright. Yeah, I'm using merge blocks a lot more as well. Dragfair. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm finding merge blocks are really quite cool. I built a couple of modular ships that use merge blocks so you can configure them together in different configurations, whether it be cockpit, then refinery, then power plant, or as in reactors and things like that. Double hull thrusters, yeah. Yes, they are. This one, just trying to remember, does this one have... We looked at that, didn't we? Yeah, this one doesn't have any of the hidden thrusters inside it. The other one, I believe I do have some thrusters hidden inside here. Yeah. Not many, just a couple. They're actually all hidden inside. Yeah, I've shrouded them all, as you can see as well. Oh, damn it. I tried to make everything walkable, which is not very easy when it comes to this sort of arrangement. But yes, this flies quite nice, and it's a very interesting vessel anyway. Yeah. Anyway, everybody, thanks for dropping by. That sounds very interesting, old Grumpy. But alas, I must now actually stop this stream. I've got other commitments that I need to attend to. But I do thank you all for popping by. Please drop by again. I do stream the same time every night, 6 days a week. This stream started an hour ago, which is when I normally stream this. This is actually a beginner's guide, well, was a beginner's guide. I think I've gone a little bit off track here. But at the hour and a half before that, I do stream a survival game I'm playing, a custom system I built with pirate bases, everything I'm taking on. So by all means, feel free to drop by and check in on when you see that I'm streaming. more than welcome, more than happy to answer questions and chat as well. So thank you everybody for dropping by, and I shall hopefully chat with you all another time.